Hi everyone! How many of you heard the song I've Heard It Through the Grapevine? Growing up as a kid, I would go to the movie theater and the song would start playing and I would start singing in my head. But little did I know the true meaning of it would come to life when I started working at a workplace. As most of us have been through high school, we know how there's cliques and the rumors that are included. When you graduate high school, you don't worry about the cliques and the rumors that you had before. You start looking for a job. My first job was working at TDEC, a data entry company for where I've been there for 2 years. When you get a job, it's like transferring to a bigger high school with people that can range from varieties of ages, but also that you get paid to be there. The negative part about the workplace being similar to a high school is that rumors and cliques do follow. They don't just disappear. When cliques are created in the workplace and everyone becomes friends, they're no longer formal with each other. I believe that informal communication in the workplace can only have negative effects. Communication in the workplace is very important, but it is also very important for it to be effective and understood. Throughout an organization, there are multiple communication networks. In the Human Communications textbook, 4th edition, published by Judy Pearson in 2011, communication networks can be defined as patterns of relationships through which information flows in an organization. Through my study of communication, I found there are many ways of information can flow through an organization, such as upward, downward, and horizontal communication. Downward communication occurs whenever superiors initiate messages to subordinates. Upward communication flows through the subordinates to the superiors. Lastly, there's horizontal communication, is where messages between the members of an organization have equal power. Horizontal communication is important to success in an organization, such as the other types of communication, but horizontal communication is popularly used by that it helps to coordinate tasks, solve problems, and many more things. Communication networks emerge in the organizations based on the formal and informal communications that make them. When cliques and friendships are created in the workplace, it becomes a barrier for communication. When communication is not effective in the workplace, it can have effects on work productions and the emotional atmosphere of the whole organization as a whole. Back in 2006, a college student of the name of Martha J. Fay wrote his dissertation for her degree Doctor of Philosophy in the Graduate School of Ohio State University about informal communication practices between peers in a remote work context. Fay believed the shift towards more horizontal and distributed organizations has presented communication challenges to the growing numbers of individuals and institutions who are physically separated from one another. To address this gap, 97 remote employees from a variety of companies were asked about their informal communication with coworkers, specifically their casual talk activities, experiences with messages of inclusion and exclusion, and frequency of social support. The remote employees also asked us their relationships with coworkers, as well as their felt inclusion, organizational identification, and organizational commitment and job satisfaction. The results came back in the end that provided evidence of specific links between informal communication practices of remote employees and their levels of organizational identification, commitment, and job satisfaction. In the end, the results came back showing that due to the shift of organizations through horizontal communication, which is mainly made up of informal communication, that this type of communication throughout distributed organizations has negative effects on the workplace. The study phase showed the communication needed to be improved for the horizontal communication to have a positive effect. In 2005, Virginia Peck Richmond and James C. McCroskey wrote a journal article on the natures of organizations. Richmond and McCroskey have said that the nature of communication in organizations is the element that maintains and sustains relationships within it. For example, something that any one person can say to another can only have an impact on those two people that said it, but since organizations are systems as a whole, it can have an impact on everyone. Communications have a big impact on how you perceive your own work, or the work of others around you, along with how those around you perceive your work all with it. Communication is made up of formal and informal communication. In my opinion, informal communication causes more barriers than effectiveness in the workplace. A writer named Jaritra Mishra wrote a journal article on Managing the Grapevine. In the 19th edition, Series 2 of a Public Personnel Management that was published in 1990, Mishra said that the grapevine is the informal and unsanctioned information network within every organization. No matter where you go in a workplace, drama and gossip will always follow. The dictionary gives us a definition for the grapevine, for which it says it's the informal transmission of information, gossip, or rumor from person to person. A grapevine in the workplace can have positive and negative effects on the workplace, but I find it to be a huge barrier. But for you to understand what a grapevine is, I have to talk about the positives and the negative effects. The positive effects of having a grapevine communication in the workplace is how fast the information can spread throughout a workplace. Just like in high school, one tiny little rumor could spread around like a school like wildfire. The only issue with how fast the information spreads is that by each person there is a miscommunication. The initial message in the beginning does not always match the same one in the end. Let me give you a physical picture of what it would look like. For example, when I'm at work, I could receive either an email or I could receive a memo on a piece of paper, or I could receive a phone call from a colleague. So, to give you an example, I receive a phone call from my friend named Tracy. Tracy tells me that work might be being shut down. I misinterpret the message, and I think that she said work is being shut down. I get off the phone with Tracy, and I message my friend Brenda. I say, Brenda, you're never going to believe this. Tracy just called me and she told me that work is being shut down. She said maybe, but I feel like she knows that it is being shut down. After I get off the phone, Brenda goes and tells everyone. It spreads like wildfire. The miscommunication that I had with Tracy caused a wildfire spread of false information. False information is terrible in the workplace because it can stop work production, and it's not good. It doesn't have a good effect on the workplace as a whole. That's why I find informal communication to be a barrier for that miscommunication of interpreting the message wrong, because there isn't no positive rule of what is being communicated. It's not proved by one person. It could be spread like wildfire and have many different opinions. Horizontal communication is made up of everybody's opinion to make up what the work is. Everybody has their own input. The only issue when the input is all together from everyone else, it messes it up as a whole, for that it's not complete, it's not cemented in. It can be changed multiple times. That's why Managing Through the Grapevine that she wrote, Mishra says that it is unsanctioned network through every organization. You can't avoid it. What I'm saying is, it is not good for the workplace.